Hello everyone, it's me Sanjay Vasu back again for another video. This time I'm going to be doing it on Cambridge IGCSE Mathematics Paper 2 Extended for May/June 2022. Question 1. Write down a prime number between 30 and 40. So let's start with 30. That's not prime. Next number, 31. That's prime. We can cancel out 32, 33, 34, 35, 36. But 37 is also prime, and that's why only two prime numbers are there. If we take 38, 39, and 40, they are also not prime. So you can write either one of 31 or 37, and I should simply write 31. Question 2. Calculate 4 to the power of 5 minus 5 to the power of 4. 4 to the power of 5 is 1024, while 5 to the power of 4 is 625. And we subtract it, we get 399. Question 3. Jason starts a run at 10:05 a.m. and finishes at 1:02 p.m. Work out the time Jason takes to complete the run. 1:02 can also be written as 13:02 in 24 hours, and 10:05 a.m. will remain the same. When we subtract it, we can borrow from here, and then this becomes 2 hours and 57 minutes. Question 4. Calculate 1 minus 0.7 by 0.45 minus 0.38, giving your answer correct to 4 significant figures. Let's get our calculator out. Alright, so 1 minus 0.7 is 0.3, and we divide that by 0.45 minus 0.38. That becomes 0.07. And let's do this on our calculator, where we get 4.286 to 4 significant figures. That's the answer. Question 5. Kirsty changes $380.80 into pounds, and 1 pound is equal to $1.19. Calculate the amount Kirsty receives. Let's get our calculator out, and now we can divide 380.80 by 1.19. And now on our calculator, we get 320 pounds. Question 6. Write 180 as a product of its prime factors. So let's just take 180 and make a factor tree. So you have a 2, 90. That means 180 is equal to 2 into 90, right? Yes. Remember, only use prime factors like 2, 3, or stuff like that. Now we can also divide this by 2 again. 45. Divide by 3. 15. Divide by 3. 5. Now we have completed our factor tree, since we cannot divide by anything other than 1 or the number itself. In other words, these are all prime numbers over here. Now we can simply multiply the numbers which are not in circles. So the prime factor product of 180 is 180 equals 2 into 2 into 3 into 3 into 5. It can also be written as 2 squared into 3 squared into 5. That's the answer. Question 7. Without using a calculator, work out 3 by 7 minus 2 by 21. You must show all your working and give your answer as a fraction in simplest form. So what's the LCM of 7 and 21? 21, right? So 3 by 7 minus 2 by 21 can be written as something by 21. We need to multiply 7 into 3 to get 21. So we need to multiply 3 into 3 as well to make the fraction the same. That means we get 9. And then minus 2, because it's already in the form of something by 21. That's equals 7 by 21. And in simplest form, this can be written as 1 by 3. That's the answer. Question 8. S equals 1/2 of AT squared. A. Work out the value of S when A is equal to 0.9 and T is equal to 4. You can say S is equal to half into 0.9 into 4 squared. And I just substitute these values into the values of A and T. Now, half into 0.9 is 0.45, and we multiply that by 4 squared, which is 16. When we do this, let's get our calculator out. 0.45 into 16. 7.2. That means S is equal to 7.2. That's the answer. B. Rearrange the formula to find T in terms of S and A. Or we can just write the formula first. S equals half of AT squared. Now let's bring the half to the other side. That means we need to divide S by half, which means 2S. Now 2S is equal to AT squared. That means 2S divided by A is equal to T squared. T is equal to the square root of 2S by A. That's the answer. Question 9. Factorize completely 14xy minus 7y squared. Look at the common factors. Because 14 and 7 are both divisible by 7, we can bring out a 7 from these two. And also, there's some amount of y's in these. There's a y here and y squared, so we can take out one y as well. So 7y can be removed, and then 2x minus y. That's the answer. Question 10. 22, 17, 12, 7, 2, and then it continues. And what is this? It's a sequence. And A, find the next term of the sequence. So first thing we need to notice is the pattern in the sequence. Every term, we are subtracting 5. So 2 minus 5 is the next term, which is equal to -3. That's the answer. B, find the nth term of the sequence. So what do you mean by nth term? So n is a random whole number, which is not 0. Or in other words, natural number. For example, the first, second, third, etc. So because subtracting 5, let's take the 5 table. First, we write down the sequence. Let's write the 5 table down. So you've written 5 numbers of the 5 table. We can call that as 5n, because the nth term of 5 becomes 1, since it's the first term. 5 into 1 is 5. 5 into 2 is 10. And that goes on. And the top row can be written as the sequence, which I'll write as SEQ. Now this sequence is descending, and the 5n is ascending. So we need to subtract 5n from some number to get this. So that some number is x. So x minus 5 will be 22. X minus 10 is 17. X minus 15 is 12. Like that. And using this information, we can find out that x will be equal to 27. That means the sequence will be 27 minus 5n. That's the answer. Question 11. Triangle ABC is mathematically similar to triangle PQR. A. Calculate QR. Let's find the ratio of triangle ABC to triangle PQR. That's equal to 8:6, which is equal to 4:3. And in this case, we have a 6 centimeters in triangle ABC. We need to find QR. This is actually corresponding sides. So we can find out QR using the ratio which we just found. 4:3 is equal to 6 is to QR's length. So 4 into what is 6? We need to multiply by 1.5, right? So we need to multiply 3 into 1.5 as well. So 3 into 1.5 is equal to 4.5 centimeters. And that's the length of QR. B. The two triangles are the cross sections of two mathematically similar prisms. The volume of the larger prism is 320 centimeters cubed. Calculate the volume of the smaller prism. So we know the ratio 4:3. We know that the larger prism will be the one with triangle ABC. The smaller will be the one with triangle PQR. The volume of the one with ABC is 320 centimeters cubed, and the ratio is 4:3, like I just said. So we need this ratio. How? So we need to divide the value of 320 by this ratio. This ratio can be written as a fraction, 3/4. Considering that the triangle PQR is a smaller triangle and therefore we need to make it smaller, so we put a fraction which is less than 1. 3/4 multiplied by 320. Well, you may think this will give us the answer, right? There's one thing missing though. You need to realize that this is not the length of a side. This is the volume of the whole prism. And volume is in centimeters cubed, not in centimeters. And because it's in centimeters cubed to the power 3, we need to make 3/4 to the power 3 as well. And we can do this on our calculator. 3 divided by 4, and we can cube this. Now we multiply that by 320 to get 135 centimeters cubed. That's the answer. Question 12. The interior angles of a pentagon are in the ratio of 4:5:5:7:9. Find the size of the largest angle. First, we need to find the sum of interior angles. The sum of interior angles equals n minus 2 into 180. That becomes, because n is the number of sides in a polygon. So in a pentagon there are 5 sides. 5 minus 2 into 180. That's equal to 3 into 180, which is 540. And that's in degrees. Now, 540 is how many parts of the ratio? 540 degrees is equal to 4 plus 5 plus 5 plus 7 plus 9, which is equal to 30 parts. So 1 part is equal to 540 divided by 30, 18 degrees. 9 parts for the largest angle is equal to 18 into 9, which becomes 162 degrees. That's the largest angle. Question 13. Work out 2 into 10 power 100 minus 2 into 10 power 98, giving an answer in standard form. So first, let's make the powers of the tens same. Doing this, we can transfer 2 of these into the digit here. How? Let's take a similar example. 2 into 10 to the power of 2, representing this. That's the same as 20 into 10 to the power of 1, right? We subtract 1 from the power and add a 0, because there's 1 0 needed. Same way, we can subtract 2 from the power and add 2 zeros. So this is actually equal to 200 into 10 power 98 minus 2 into 10 power 98. Because they're the same power of 10, we can subtract the numbers. That'll be 198 into 10 to the power of 98. And in standard form, this becomes 1.98 into 10 to the power of 100. That's the answer. Question 14. A train passes through a station at a speed of 108 kilometers an hour. The length of the station is 120 meters precisely. The train takes 7 seconds to completely pass through the station. Work out the length of the train. First, let's convert 108 kilometers per hour into meters per second. So 108 kilometers an hour becomes how many meters an hour? 108,000 meters an hour. Now we can divide this by 3600, which is converting hours to seconds. 30 meters per second. Now let's do a pictorial representation. So let's say this rectangle is the station, and the smaller one is the train. So from the time the head of the train enters the station to the time the tail of the train exits the station, that's 7 seconds. That's why I say completely pass through the station. That means we need 2 lengths of the train and 1 length of the station. So like this. So train enters, 1 full length of the train goes in, length of the station, and then it exits the full length of the station. So we need to find out the time taken for the head of the train to reach here. That is the length of the station plus the length of the full train. So let's take the length as x. The length of the train equals x. So 7 seconds, that's the time, multiplied by 30 meters per second. That's the speed to form the distance. That's equal to 120 meters plus x, which is the length of the train, and 120 meters is the length of the station. I'll repeat this. I'm multiplying 7 to 30 because speed is equal to distance by time, and we can write it like this. Therefore, distance will be speed multiplied by time. There's the speed, there's the time in seconds. So we can make this the distance traveled totally by the train to pass the station. So 210 is equal to 120 plus x. That means x is equal to 210 minus 120, which is 90 meters. That's the answer. Question 15. 4 to the power of x equals 1 by 64. Find the value of x. So 1 by 64 can be written as 1 by 4 to the power of 3. There's a rule called 1 by x to the power of y is equal to x to the power minus y. This is an exponent rule. That means 1 by 4 power 3 is equal to 4 to the power of minus 3. We can write that. So 4 to the power of x equal to 4 power minus 3. There's only one thing to be said from this. X is equal to minus 3. That's the answer. Question 16. Describe fully the single transformation that maps triangle T onto triangle P. First thing we can see is triangle P is half the size of triangle T. That means it's an enlargement. That's the transformation. And we can say that the scale factor is half, because we are halving the size of T to get P. But there's one more thing. T gets inverted to P. So the image of T is rotated 180 degrees to get P. That means there's a negative sign. So it's minus half. And the center is 4, 4. Because the point is 2 here, 1 this way, 1 unit. And these two are corresponding points. Because it's rotated to the other side of this point, it is a negative. So the center is 4, 4. That's the answer. Question 17. Find the radius of a hemisphere of volume 80 centimeters cubed. The volume V of a sphere with radius r is V equals 4 by 3 pi r cubed. So a hemisphere is half of a sphere. That means the volume will be 2 by 3 pi r cubed. That's equal to 80. That means pi r cubed will be 80 into 3 by 2, which is 120. And then r cubed, we can do 120 by pi on our calculator. 120 divided by pi 38.197 approximately. That means the radius will be the cube root of 38.197. Now when we do that, we get 3.37 centimeters. So 2 decimal places. That's the answer. Question 18. A, B, C, and D are points on a circle over here. TU is a tangent to the circle at D. DA is parallel to CB. That means these two lines are parallel and this is a tangent at the point here. Find the value of x and y. So first thing we can realize is that using the alternate segment theorem, which is a theorem in circle geometry, makes it that the angle from a tangent to a chord is the same as the angle on the opposite segment, which means the angle connected by the two lines connecting the chord. That means x is equal to 38 degrees. Now what about y? Because this angle and this angle are both equal, because this is a cyclic quadrilateral, that means y is equal to 60 minus 38 minus the x value, that's equal to 22 degrees. That's why x is 38 and y is 22. That's the answer. Question 19. If the diagram AB is parallel to PQ, AQ and PB intersect at point X with AX equals XQ. Complete the following statements. In triangles ABX and QPX, AX equals XQ is given information, which is what we have here. Angle BAX is equal to angle dash because dash. So angle BAX is this angle. It's equal to this angle here, which is XQP. Why? Because they are alternate angles. Alternate angles are angles which are in the form of a Z or an inverted Z like it is here. So these two lines are parallel and we have a transversal going through them. So the angle which is inside those transversal and the parallel lines become equal. Next, angle AXB is equal to angle dash because dash. Angle AXB is equal to this angle PXQ. Why? Because they are vertically opposite. What does that mean? So there are two lines over here which intersect at a point. So the angles around these points, which are vertically opposite angles, always they are equal. Next, triangle ABX is congruent to triangle QPX because of the congruency criterion dash. So we know that these angles are equal. We know that these sides are equal. And we know that these angles and these angles are equal. So we know all three angles are equal. But we need to have at least one side. It means we have one side here. We have an angle and we have another angle. So because of the congruency criterion AAS, this means angle, angle, side. Because the two pairs of angles are the same and one pair of sides are the same. Next, PX is equal to dash because the triangles are congruent. PX is equal to BX. They are the corresponding sides. That's the answer. Question 20. This diagram shows the speed time graph for 24 seconds of a car journey. Calculate. A. The deceleration of the car in the final 8 seconds, which means this section here. Alright, so deceleration is equal to the velocity or the speed by the time. So the change in speed is 12 to 0, which means 12 meters per second. That's the change. 12. And the time change is 8 seconds. So we have 12 by 8, which is equal to 1.5 meters per second squared. That's the answer. B. The total distance traveled during the 24 seconds. Alright, so the answer for B is actually the total distance traveled, which means the area under this trapezium, which is formed by the x-axis, the y-axis, and then the diagonal and the line here. So we can find the area of the rectangle and find the area of the triangle. So the area of the rectangle, that's equal to 12 units into 16 units. That's equal to 192 meters. In this case, meters because distance. And next, the area of this triangle, 8, 12 units. So the area of the triangle is half BH, which is half into 8 into 12, which will make 48 meters. And when we add this, we get 240 meters. That's the answer. Question 21. Factorize completely 1 minus q minus a plus aq. The first thing we can do is to take out the common factors in this second half of the equation. So 1 minus q minus a into 1 minus q. How does this happen? When we take out minus a from this section over here, we'll get a1 and we'll get negative q, since we are taking out a negative here. We can put this in brackets as well and make it 1 into 1 minus q. Why did I do this? It's because now we can see that there are two more common factors, 1 minus q. So we can take out this common factor of 1 minus q and multiply it by 1 minus a. That's the answer. Question 22. Simplify fully 216y to the power 216 whole to the power 2 by 3. So because we are multiplying a bracket into a power, so this power will be used for all of the numbers which are being multiplied inside the bracket. So that's equal to 216 to the power 2 by 3 multiplied by y to the power 216 the whole to the power 2 by 3. Now 216 power 2 by 3 is cube root of 216 and the whole thing squared. It's equal to 6 squared, which is 36. So 36 multiplied by, when we make a power of a power or a power of an exponented number, we have to multiply the powers. So y to the power of 216 into 2 by 3, which becomes y to the power of 144. That's the answer, 36 y power 144. Question 23. X squared plus 8x plus 10 equals x plus p the whole squared plus q. Find the value of p and the value of q. The first thing, let's expand the brackets here. So x squared plus p squared plus 2 into x into p, and we add q. Why? This is in the form of a squared plus b squared plus 2ab, which is the same as a plus b the whole squared. That's equal to x squared plus 8x plus 10. We can say that the 8x is equal to 2xp. So 8x equals 2xp. And that means when we cancel out 2x from both sides, we get p is equal to 4. So we found p. Now we need to find q. So x plus 4 the whole squared plus q is equal to this quadratic equation, which is x squared plus 8x plus 10. When we multiply it out, we get x squared plus 8x plus 16, and we add q as well, we get x squared plus 8x plus 10. We can cancel x squared and 8x from both sides, so 16 plus q is 10, and q is equal to minus 6. That's the answer. B. Solve x squared plus 8x plus 10 equals 30. That means that we can make this a quadratic equation. X squared plus 8x minus 20 equals 0. Now, which numbers multiply to negative 20 but add up to 8? We can take the numbers 10 and minus 2. When you multiply 10 and minus 2, we get minus 20. When we add them, we get 8. That means we can use both these numbers, x plus 10 and x minus 2. And we can put this in brackets, say that's equal to 0. And now that means that x can be equal to minus 10 or x can be equal to 2. That's the answer. Question 24. A cuboid measures 24 centimeters by 12 centimeters by 8 centimeters. Calculate the length of a diagonal of the cuboid. So we need to find the diagonal formed by these two lengths, 12 and 8 centimeters. And then we need to find the diagonal formed by that solution and then the 24 centimeters over there. Alright, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a cuboid over here. There we go. Now I have a rough cuboid drawing. Now I'm going to label this. So I'm going to put 24 centimeters here, 12 over here, and 8 centimeters there. First thing I'm going to do is find the length of the diagonal where 8 centimeters and 12 centimeters. That means I'm going to find the length of this diagonal on this face using the Pythagoras theorem. And now we can get the answer for this diagonal. Now we can use this found length of the diagonal here and the length of 24 centimeters there to find the longest length of the diagonal in the cuboid, which is from the bottom left corner of the front face to the top right corner of the back face. And once we find that, that is the answer. I'll erase this and I'll show you the working. So 8 squared plus 12 squared equals, let's say, x squared for the solution for this, the hypotenuse of the base of the cuboid. This means that 64 plus 144 is equal to x squared. Now 208 is x squared and x is equal to the root 208. We can leave it like this for now. Now x squared plus 24 squared is equal to y squared, which is the diagonal of the cuboid. That's why we can leave it like this for now, because then we have to square it. So that's equal to y squared. 208 plus 576 is equal to y squared. Y squared is equal to, when we add up 576 and 208, that becomes 784. That means that y is equal to the square root of 784, which becomes 28 centimeters. That's the answer. Question 25. W is proportional to the square root of y. Y is inversely proportional to x. When x equals 4, y equals 16, and w equals 8. Find w in terms of x. So let's start by writing w is proportional to the square root of y. This symbol which I've drawn here is a proportionality symbol. Now we can write this as w equals k into the square root of y, where k is called the proportionality constant. The proportionality constant. This is a number which you multiply by the square root of y to get w. Now we can substitute the values of w and y. So 8 is equal to k into root of 16. 8 is equal to k into 4. That means k is equal to 2. Now we can write this as w equals 2 into the root of y. Next, let's take the second statement. Y is inversely proportional to x. So y is inversely proportional to x. This is how we write it. So now we can write it as y equals k by x. Once again, k is the proportionality constant. Let's substitute values of y and x. 16 is equal to k by 4. That means k is equal to 64. And we can write this equation here as y equals 64 by x. Now we can substitute this value of y into this equation. So w is equal to 2 into root of 64 by x. Simplify the square root of 64 as 8, and root x will remain the same. So this can be written as 2 into 8 by root x, which is equal to 16 by root x. That's the answer. Question 26. The diagram shows a triangle OAB and a parallelogram OALK. The triangle OAB is here, parallelogram OALK is here. The position vector of A is A, and the position vector of point B is B. K is a point on AB, so that AK is to KB is equal to 1 is to 2. Find the position vector of L in terms of A and B. Give your answer in simplest form. So the position vector of L will go from O to L, which means we need to find these two vectors, or we need to find these two vectors. So we already have this one, so we'll concentrate on finding this vector. But in reality, the vector of K to L is also A, because this is a parallelogram. You can also find this vector here. So let's take the vector of B to A. That's equal to minus B, because we're going in the opposite direction, and then plus A. That's equal to A minus B. So BA is equal to A minus B. And now BK will be 2 by 3 of this. Why? There are 3 parts. 2 parts is KB. So the length of this is 2/3 of the whole thing. That's why it'll be 2/3. So BK will be 2/3 of A minus B. Now we can find this vector, OK. So OK is OB plus BK. So OK vector will be OB, which is vector B, plus BK, which is 2/3 of A minus B. Now we can simplify this. B plus 2/3 A minus 2/3 B. Now this can also be written as 2/3 A plus 1/3 B. Now how did we get 1 by 3 B? We have subtracted 2 by 3 of B from the value of B to get the value here. Now position vector of L is this one. We need to find the sum of OK and KL. So we can add this one we found here, and then we add an A. This becomes 5 by 3A plus 1 by 3B, which can be written as 1/3 of 5A plus B. That's the answer. Oh, and one more thing. I forgot to put the arrow sign which shows the vectors, so I'm just going to do that right now. I'm only doing it on top of the A's and B's because they represent vectors. And that's it. That's the answer. Question 27. Line y equals x plus 1 intersects the graph of y equals x squared minus 3x minus 11 at the points A and B. Find the coordinates of A and the coordinates of B. You must show all your working. So this is actually practically a simultaneous equation. So y equals x plus 1. That means x will be equal to y minus 1. Now we can substitute this value in here. So y equals y minus 1 the whole square minus 3 into y minus 1 minus 11. Now y minus 1 the whole square is actually a minus b the whole square. That's equal to a squared plus b squared minus 2ab. And when we write that down, that'll be y squared plus 1 minus 2y. And then we can do this. So minus 3y plus 3, not minus. Why? Because minus 3 into minus 1 is positive 3. And we can subtract 11 at the end. So y is equal to y squared minus 5y minus 7. That means y squared minus 6y minus 7 equals 0. So we can solve this quadratic, and after we solve it, we will get the solutions as y minus 7 into y plus 1 equals 0. These two multiply to get minus 7. These two add up to minus 6. So that means y is equal to 7 and y is equal to minus 1. Now we can substitute the value of y to find x. Now we can do this into y equals x plus 1. So 7 equals x plus 1, or minus 1 equals x plus 1. That means x is equal to 6, or x equals minus 2. And x equals 6 when y is equal to 7. So the coordinates of A will be 6, 7. And x equals minus 2 and y equals minus 1. That means the coordinates of B is minus 2, minus 1. You can write this as the coordinates of A and this as the coordinates of B, but there's no problem with that. And that's the answer. With this, I've come to the end of my paper. Please like this video, subscribe to our channel, share this video with your friends and family, and comment on how you think this video was and what you would like us to do to improve the channel. With this, I come to the end of the video. It's me, Sanjay Vasu, signing out. Bye.